Welcome to our holiday series, sponsored by Clover and Judi.
In this episode, I'm going to show you how to untangle your cords to make this cute little tassel. So the first thing that I'm going to do is ink up my stamp with some clear embossing ink. So I just tap on the back like so, and then stamp my image here off to the left side. And I just want to push firmly to make sure I get a nice impression. Now I know you can't see the ink on here, but once I pour the embossing powder on, you'll be able to see. So I take my green embossing powder, this is called Forest Twinkle, and I'm going to be very careful and just pour the powder right on the wording. I don't want to get the tinsely part because I'm going to emboss that in a different color. So just tap some of that powder over the words and I just shake off the excess. So now you can see, don't get your tinsel in a tangle. Put my extra embossing powder back in the little jar. And then I'm just going to sweep this out because now that I'm using a second color, I don't want to contaminate it with the second color, which is the silver. Put my image back in the tray and then pour powder over the whole thing. And I'm not worried about that green because since it's sticking to the wet ink, it's not going to come off of my stamped image. Keep turning it upside down. Pour the powder back in the jar. And then I always cover up the jar. Now let's go ahead and heat that up. So the next step is to ink and stamp my tree. I'm going to ink this up with my clear embossing ink. And this time I'm going to stamp my image to the right of my card here. And then I'm going to use that same Silver Twinkle embossing powder to emboss the tree. And this tree is kind of fun. It looks like a bunch of strings on the tree. Put the powder back in. And then we're going to melt this one. So you can kind of see the powder melting, and then you know you're finished. The next thing that I want to do is I want to stamp my snowman, and normally I would stamp him straight, but I want it to look like he's peeking around the tree here. So I'm going to mask the tree, and the way that I make a mask is I'm using the Judi Eclipse tape, and this tape has a very light adhesive on the back. Just tear off a little bit, and you can actually stick it to the table here. Ink this up with any color of ink pad, doesn't matter. You just want to be able to see the image because we're going to cut it out. Stamp it on the tape, and then take your scissors and cut this out. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm only going to cut half of the tree out because I only need to mask this left side of the tree. I don't have to mask the whole thing because the snowman is only going to peek out from this left side. So see, I'm just going to mask this part right here. Take my clear ink pad, ink up my snowman. And then just tip him slightly so that he's peeking around the tree. And same thing, I'm going to emboss that. So I take off my mask and pour my embossing powder right over that stamped snowman. And see how you could see him peeking around that tree? So we're going to take our heat gun and let's melt that powder. Now I want to color in my cute little snowman here. I've got this orange marker and I color in a little bit of an orange for his nose, kind of make it look like a carrot. And then I'm going to use the red here for his mittens. Everybody has to have a cute pair of red mittens. And the next thing is green for his hat. Because I wanted the green to sort of match the writing that says, "Don't get your tinsel in a tangle." So I kind of come in and color. And then he's wearing a cute little scarf. And we're going to color in the green for the scarf as well. Okay. Oh, and you know what? He has pink cheeks. So let's, oh, that is not pink. Is that pink? Yes, we've got pink cheeks. How's that for cute? Now that everything is embossed and colored in, I'm going to mount it onto this red card here, which I've cut out, and it has this nice little frame about 1/8 of an inch. Just take some of your Mosaic tape and just tear off a little bit. And I like to put this right up along the edge so that my card lays flat when it's attached to the border here. And then just peel off the backing, which doesn't always come off easily. And then just attach your card like so. Now I have a nice little frame there. And then this I'm going to layer onto my note card. So same thing, tear off a little bit. And if it's too long, you can actually tear off so that it fits. Oh, a little bit too long there. Take another piece. This is why I like this tape, is because you can tear it. You don't have to get your scissors out every time. And take your note card, and we're just going to center this right onto the note card. Now how's that for an adorable card? But I'm not finished. I want to add a little bit of an embellishment here. So next I'm going to make a tassel. I'm going to use 2 different colors of embroidery floss or embroidery thread here. I have red and green to match my snowman. So the first thing that I'm going to do is make the loop for my card. I'm going to use this great little tool from Clover, and it's a cording tool that kind of twists the cord, or twists the thread here. So I take a little bit of the green and a little of the red. And we want to use enough to kind of fit my card. So here's my card, and I'm just going to kind of pull out about 4 times the amount, maybe a little bit more just in case. And you want to snip it. What you want to do is tie a slip knot on one end, and you hook it right here on this hook. There's a little arrow. I know it's hard to see, but there's a little arrow on this bump, and you want that arrow facing you. And you just slide the cord in and then just kind of pull it taut. You take your second thread, do the same thing, tie a slip knot on one end like this, and hook it in. Now, you hold your cords upright And then you just twist this up. And when you're finished twisting, what you want to do is let it go, take it off the little hooks, like so, and then just let it go and see how it twists together to make a twisted cord. And once we have that twisted cord, we're going to fold it in half, and then that creates the loop that attached to the card. So here is the loop that's going to fit on my card, and you can see here's my card, and here's the little loop, and I want the loop to be about 5 inches. That's the width of my card here. I'm going to take the 2 ends and I tie another knot. Now I'm going to be ready to make the tassel part. So this is the tassel maker, and the tassel maker is great because it has these adjustable screws on it. So you just kind of open this up, and you can see it makes it larger and smaller. I'm actually going to use the small setting, and you can see right here that it lines up. This two little plastic points, and then screw it shut so that it's nice and tight, and flip it so that you want to flip it so that the little nuts and bolts are facing upwards towards you. The first thing I'm going to do is take my green thread, take your end, and you're going to slip it right underneath where the one bolt is. You can kind of see here there's a little notch, so you just tuck it under so it holds it there in the notch. Then you wrap your thread around, and you could wrap this as many times as you want. I'm going to wrap this about 7 times, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is add my red thread. So I just take my red thread and I'm going to tie a square knot. So right over left, tuck it under, pull it tight, then left over right. And I want this to kind of be right there in the center, and then wrap it around. Then we're going to wrap the red thread around another 7 times. And then tuck this into the slot on the opposite side. You just want to clip this, and let's clip off where we tied the two together. This way I can have a two-toned tassel. Then you're going to take another piece of thread, and you want to thread it down and through. Now before we tie the knot here, you're going to take the loop part of your tassel and kind of push it in between, like in between the 2 colors. And you want this knot to be below this middle mark here. So this is the middle of the tassel. It's going to be half the size. And I put the knot underneath and then tie another double knot here. So just pull the edge of the thread through, just like this. Make sure it's nice and tight. And the knot is down below the middle point here. Then there's a nice slot here, and I could trim my thread right through the slot. Turn it around and do the same thing, kind of pull taut here. Now this doesn't look that great, but what you do is you flop over all of your little ends, just like this. And then the next thing that you're going to do is make the head of the tassel. So you take your next color thread, and I'm going to use this kind of red color here, and about the same amount as my loop. And you want to make a small loop here, just like this, and lay that over the top, and then come around and wrap this up. And this makes the pretty little head portion of the tassel. So I'm wrapping it about 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. And then thread it through this loop, like so. And when you pull on this end, it pulls that loop through, and that tightens it so that you have that nice little head. Then I just snip off the one end. And I like using the Eclipse tape because it kind of sticks to my threads. And I fold it over like so. And then this gives me a nice guideline so that when I cut my threads, everything is nice and even. And because the Eclipse tape has a lightweight adhesive, it's not going to stick to my threads. So now I have my cute little tassel that's going to go on the card. Take my card, slip the tassel over, and I see I made a little bit of a measuring mistake here. My tassel's a little bit bigger than the card. So what you do is take another piece of thread, trim that, and I just tie a small little knot right here at the edge of the card because it's going to be hidden, you won't see it. Just giving it a quick little tie, like so, and trim it. And now my tassel is going to flop over. And look at how cute that looks.
We hope you're enjoying our holiday series. Please follow us on social media and sign up on our website and you'll be eligible to win one of our prize boxes full of products from some of our favorite sponsors. And as we always say, when creativity knocks, open the door.